This Icon podcast is hosted and sponsored by Sphere Rocket Virtual Assistants, a leading provider for your virtual assistants and outsourcing needs. Owned by one of the top-ranking EXP agents, Justin Nelson. Sphere Rocket VA provides a one-stop virtual staffing solution for business owners, and we specialize in helping business owners grow their business by leveraging through virtual assistants. Trusted by the top names in the real estate industry like Kyle Whistle, Andrew Franklin, John Kitchens, and many more. Get ready to up your success and we'll help you achieve your business goals. Book your free consultation at sphererocketva.com and find out how we can make your life easier.
What's up? Welcome back to another episode of the Icon Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Gianna, and today we've got Jake Wyer. We have talked to all things snowboarding in the South and accents before this, so I think it's going to be a pretty interesting episode. Jake, thanks for your time. Excited to get to know you.
Excited to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Of course. So let's take it back to the beginning, to the basics. Jake, who are you? Where are you from? How did you find yourself in real estate?
That old question. Well, I've been in real estate. I came in at a great time, like a lot of folks. I came in right before the recession in 2008.
Awesome timing.
So cut my teeth with all that funness, short sales and foreclosures and all that. So back in 2009, California, that's where I'm from. Had my real estate license back there in San Diego.
Okay.
And have since moved out to North Carolina, Wilmington, and still working. Now I work with my wife, actually.
Oh, awesome.
Yep. So.
And does she have her real estate license too?
She does, and she puts up with me on a daily. So that's always interesting.
Are you guys both icons then?
No, she just started actually. We have 2 kids, so she just came back on full time.
Cool. I was like, she's an icon and you didn't let her come do this episode with me.
No, she's for that. No.
Okay, we'll have her own episode here once she gets the ball rolling back into into the production life. That's awesome. So Jake, how did you come across EXP then? Right, you've been in the game for a while. Obviously, it wasn't your first brokerage. Right. So how did that? What's your story there?
Oddly enough, I actually was introduced to EXP way back when in California. Someone brought me to EXP World, which was probably the worst way to recruit someone to any brokerage ever, in my opinion. Cheesiest thing I'd ever seen in my life. So I actually totally put that up on the shelf for 6 years. So I wish I had joined way back then. I would have some stock worth quite a bit of money at this time. But unfortunately, I didn't. And so I was with a bunch of national brokerages like Remax, Century 21. And then when I moved here to Wilmington, decided to go more boutique. So it was a small 80-person brokerage. And then actually Kyle Whistle, which I know you guys are familiar with Kyle Whistle.
Yeah.
So me and him are from the same little town, Santee, California, outside of San Diego.
Oh.
So I've always kind of watched his success from afar. I saw that he moved his entire brokerage to EXP, and that was kind of the catalyst. I've been seeing a lot of people doing that, but his movement was the catalyst that I reached out to him. I said, tell me a little bit. You just moved a very successful practice over to EXP. What's going on?
Yeah. And so he was like, here's the model, check it out. Let me know if you have questions. And you're like, oh, this isn't just like a little video game world. This place is legit.
Right. Yeah. I don't have to live in an avatar world. Yeah, exactly. So
that's so crazy that's so crazy that somebody introduced you like that. But we'll let it slide.
Not the way. So for anyone listening, that's not the way to talk to people about EXP. That's probably the worst way to bring people into this brokerage.
Yeah, I think. Literally crazy. So noted for those who are trying to focus on some agent attraction. But Jake, now that you're over here at EXP and we've talked about, some of the cool things it has to offer, right? Like EXP World, but it's got, stock options, collaboration, rev share. So what's something that you love about EXP that maybe you didn't expect or you utilize on an almost daily basis that you didn't think about when you made the move over here?
Like you just mentioned, the collab. I kind of assume that because it's a cloud brokerage, you're not going into an office, that you're giving that part up. You're giving up kind of like that community of real estate agents. And it's like, couldn't be further from the truth. That was the coolest part to me is I'm literally on, group Zoom calls with Kyle Whistle and all these, people are doing 1,000 deals a year. and everybody's just sharing their information, sharing their listing packages. You know, they'll listen to your problems for your little business that you have, and they'll tell you exactly what they would do in those situations. This has been awesome. So you get to stand
Yeah,
on
that's
kind of
awesome.
shoulders of giants, I feel like, which I feel like in normal brokerages, everybody's so guarded with everything they have. So
Right.
that's been
No,
huge.
that's a great point, Jake. And you know, it's one of the awesome amenities that EXP has to offer and what really sets it apart from other brokerages. And we will dive into more all things icon here in the next question or so. But before we get there, let's talk about you, work-life balance. You've got a wife, 2 little ones, if I heard correctly. Obviously, friends, family. So where do you draw the line between work and play in an industry that can pretty much swallow you whole if you let it?
Absolutely. So that's another thing that I've been working on this last year, is the balance. And part of that, actually, oddly enough, is I'm a client of Sphere Rocket. And so I have a VA now, Carl, who takes a ton off my plate. And I can just kind of dump things onto his plate, and he takes care of them in the background. It's been beautiful. So I've been able to make a little bit more delineation, saying I'm going to work more of a 9 to 5 situation, and weekends are for the family. So it's been nice. It's been very nice.
That's a good little balance. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then, how does that help you kind of recharge and be your best self when it comes to, real estate?
Because you don't have 30,000 things flipping around in the back of your mind that you have to send this email, and you have to check, all of your CRM stuff. That's kind of should be kind of taken care of. A little bit more in the background allows you to free up for your actual expertise questions, which is what you should be focusing on, is being there for your clients and be able to answer their actual questions they need, not keeping track of your paperwork. Really.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's smart.
So that's been helpful. It's been hard. It's hard for me to give up the control. Anyone who works with me is like, yeah, I'm a little bit of a, if I can't do it, then nobody can do it kind of situation. So it's been a work on myself.
And then, gosh, let me look at this quote that I heard the other day from Skyly. She's another icon agent, and I just thought that this was awesome to share when, some of my icons talk about their struggle with letting stuff go if they feel like they're the best at it. But Skyly said, "You may be the best, but are you the best if it doesn't get done?" Right? Because you've got too much on your plate. And I just think that was an awesome thing for her to share, right? Like if maybe you feel like you're the best at posting on your social media, but that's not like a huge priority to you because you're doing listings and showings and connecting with clients in real life. So how are you developing leads on social media if you're not posting at all? And that's when you have to kind of leverage tasks like that out. It's tough.
It's better that it's completed than perfect. That's it's definitely 100% true. And you know what? Eventually the idea is someone else is going to be better at it than you anyways. Right. Because they can focus a little bit more of their total attention on it. And that's what's been happening actually with my VA, Carl. He actually outpaces me on being able to do paperwork, be able to keep up on the CRMs. I go back into it sometimes when I have to, and I'm like, wow, it takes me about 3 times as long as it takes him to do this exact same task. So
it helps.
It's letting go.
Hold on, I'm writing this down, Jake, because this is quality information here. And so, Jake, let's talk a little bit about production, right? So out in your market, what's that average housing price look like? And how do you hit, I guess not how many houses do you have to sell to hit your cap for iconing?
Okay. So we, like everybody else, we've had a huge jump in the last 2 years in our home values here. Currently it's $375,000 for the median home price. For an icon status, it's about 36 houses or so, 35, 36 houses to hit the icon status.
Okay.
And I know that varies wildly between, California and New York and some of the smaller markets.
They're like, I have to sell 4 houses to cap. I'm like, oh, great.
So a little bit different. We're a little bit more kind of down the middle. We're not the cheapest, and we're definitely not the most expensive housing market.
Right.
So.
Okay. It's always a good gauge for my icons, before we dive into a little more of the icon award, to get that market price and the kind of production that they have to put forth to icon, because it's an elite status, but it's a different bar for everyone, it feels like. So Jake, beyond just production, and selling homes, which you could do all year round without iconing, right? You have to step away and give back to EXP. You've got a cultural commitment. So what's your cultural commitment and why do you choose that as your commitment to EXP?
So that was an interesting thing because I didn't actually even realize at the time that that was part of the icon status until I achieved icon status. And so then
Okay.
I'd already signed up and done all my stuff for being a mentor. And that's kind of where my passion is kind of to teach other agents and kind of help them out, and hopefully not make the same mistakes I did when I started
Yeah.
out. I mean, there's a roadmap and I didn't take it. And
Hey, we're gonna dive into mistakes to avoid in like 3 questions. So keep that fresh in your mind because we
perfect.
are gonna dive into that, Jake.
Perfect. I have lots of mistakes. So yeah, I mean, I was already a mentor, and so that takes care of that icon, giving back. So yeah, I do love to be able to kind of help people out, just kind of like give them that roadmap that I didn't. Well, I was given, I didn't listen. I guess when I started, I knew best at that time too, which I really wish I had listened a little bit more and just kind of implemented what other people were doing that were successful. So
Yeah, absolutely. And then, so do you mentor people now on trying to avoid those mistakes? That's kind of the path that you've taken
that's
from
the
your
path I've
past.
taken. Yeah, and I was thinking about doing a class and things like that, but to be honest with you, I'm better one-on-one than I am just trying to
That
do like a
connection.
general class with people. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I knew
absolutely.
where my
That level of getting to know people personally kind of helps with the teaching them and coaching them as well.
yeah, I like to know where people are coming from, and I feel like that
Yeah,
always, more questions helps you kind of come up with a roadmap for people. So doing one-on-one,
yeah, they're wise.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
That's awesome, Jake. And then for my last question, when it comes to you and your icon experience, is going to be what's your favorite benefit, right? So you get that cap back in stock, you get the option to go to EXPCon and shareholders
Yep.
to earn more stock back from your cap, and you get that nice big glass shiny trophy. So what's your favorite part about iconing? Why do you keep setting that on your list of goals? Because it's not like we touched on, it's not just production, it's a commitment to be able to icon and step aside and pour energy into something like that. So why do you keep doing it? Why do you like it?
I think one thing is it really kind of keeps you wrapped back into the brokerage, as
Mhm.
far as contributing, as far as going to events, as far as interacting with other people. I feel like real estate can be really a kind of a lonely career path. You're just dealing with your clients, and then you deal with a small group of people, and then that's about it. You deal with your same closing attorney or escrow agents and your clientele, and nobody else. So I feel like with the icon status, it really does kind of bring that to the forefront that you have to attend things, you have to be present, you have to give back, you have to,
Yep.
you know, be part of the community, which I really like. I think that's actually probably my favorite piece of it. The chunk of glasses in
Absolutely.
my office too. It's shiny. It's cool to have something to keep
With
pointing
actual monetary value
out.
behind it, right?
Yeah,
Makes
it's
it
actually
feel a
that's
little
that's the
better.
thing. It's a trophy that has monetary value to it.
It's not just a plaque or a paperweight anymore, which is great.
Well, that's
And
what I always laugh at with my other brokers or with other brokerages. I'm like, oh, you got a trophy. What else did you get? They're like, oh, I got this certificate. And I'm like, and that's it, huh? And you sold $20 million worth of real estate for them, huh?
yeah, I know. Or like my favorite is when they're like, yeah, I had to pay for this plaque, but I have it.
I know, I've seen that too.
Oh, you've given your brokerage how much money and they can't front the 45 bucks for your plaque?
No,
Okay.
yeah.
So that kind of speaks levels about EXP there. And especially because they're giving you your money back and they still send you the anyway, I won't go off on this today because the listeners are probably like, Gianna, we get it. Okay. You
Get it. You're
don't
the
like the
best. EXP's the bet. No, it does. I mean, it rewards you in a real way. It's
Mhm.
not a plaque. And I was with Remax, and I did have to buy my own award with Remax. And I remember that being like, wow, that's kind
Thank
of
you.
cheesy. That's
I
kind of
feel the
cheesy.
love. Oh, well, Jake, my next question is going to be for people that are coming over to EXP. Maybe they're rookies or they are they've been in the game for a while and they make the move to EXP and they're like, man, I really would like to icon in my first year. Is that possible? And what are some major mistakes for them to avoid?
100% is possible for sure. And like we were talking about, it really depends on your market, how many you're going to have to sell. But you really have to hit the ground running. If you're a new agent, especially, I think you need to be reaching out to your sphere. You need to be making those contacts. It's definitely it's an achievable goal first year for sure. I don't feel like it's something that's just so out there that somebody couldn't make that there. And even if you fall short, you made a great income falling short of icon status. So I always tell people that too, like, okay, worst case scenario, you don't make it. And let's say you sell, like in my market, if I sold 34 homes, like that's a great income.
Right.
And I feel like that keeps your eye on the prize, and if you fall short of something like that, then that's fine too. You did great. And something to come back at next, I guess.
And then, what are some little goals that they need to be setting out on each day to make that possible for them? Because it's a big goal, especially for your first year when it feels like you're trying to drink water from a fire hose with EXP and all the amenities.
It's coming down to falling back on your sphere and falling back on your community of EXP agents who have already done it. Ask them how they did it, what they did, and they'll guarantee you most of them are going to say, I talk to people, I reach out, I make my contacts, I'm not quietly doing my paperwork in my office. I'm out making phone calls, I'm talking to people, I'm attending events. It really just comes down to it's a people person. It really is. It comes down to meeting people. You have to have those personal contacts. So if you're going to set a goal, it would be probably to have 10 contacts a day, talk to 10 people. You'll end up hitting those numbers regardless, because you're going to talk to people that know someone or are ready to sell something themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like what you said, lean into your mentors. It's a big goal, but it's not a secret. There's a recipe to the success here of becoming an icon agent. So listen to them. Don't think that you have to do it all on your own, because there's another thing that sets EXP apart from other brokerages. There's a lot of support here and, resources for you to be able to succeed in that aspect if that's on your list of goals.
Yeah, and remember, your icon agents and your mentors and everyone is incentivized by EXP for your success. They will open up their playbooks. They will open up their listing presentations. They'll give them to you. You don't have to reinvent all this. Just take what they have and run with it.
Plug and play. Hold yourself accountable, and it's all within arm's reach. Absolutely. And Jake, were you ever skeptical of EXP when it was first presented to you? Obviously, you're in EXP world and you're like, wow, this has to be a joke. But how did that, were you skeptical of it and like it's a too good to be true kind of way, or there's no way that this isn't a pyramid scheme?
Minus the metaverse debacle, EXP world, where I was had to make my little avatar and walk around and talk to people. Minus that, when someone introduced me that way, EXP was I think the model is very simplistic, and it's not even a new model in my opinion. It's based off some other models previously. Obviously, Keller Williams is very similar. I think EXP's has got a little bit better teeth to it.
Yeah.
A little bit more incentives as far as their agents are concerned. So it wasn't like completely new to me.
Right.
So when people say pyramid scheme, I'm like, it depends what you call a pyramid scheme, I guess. Yeah, you're incentivized to help people produce and grow. So I guess if that's considered a pyramid scheme, then
I guess it's well, for somebody that's watching right now and they've heard all those things like, oh, it's a pyramid scheme. Maybe they've been introduced to EXP the wrong way, but they're still kind of interested. But obviously they're like, that was crazy. I'm not talking to that person again, but EXP seems to have the right model. So they're looking at making the switch. They see the greener grass, but they hear the negative things out in the world. Like it's a pyramid scheme or a cult or everything else. So what would you advise those people, or maybe even your old self, because you touched on, wishing that you had come over sooner because of all the money you had at stocks. So, what would you go to say to your old self or somebody that's looking to make the move to EXP, but they're skeptical?
You really need to look at where the profits are going. this is a business. You know, you're in this for a business, and you got to look at, if you're with a brokerage that doesn't have a cap, ask yourself how much money you're really paying that brokerage at the end of the day, how much production you're doing.
Right.
The other thing about
How much
EXP is
money you're leaving on the table, right?
exactly, and there's multiple revenue streams in EXP, and I think if people would look more at, you know, basing their conversation with people about production of real estate, and then recruiting is a secondary thing. If you're interested in doing that, you can. I think the problem and the reason why EXP and organizations like EXP get a bad name is because people forget about the production and they focus, I'm going to get rich and I'm going to retire at age 30 because I'm going to recruit 100-person downline and I'm never going to work again. It's like, that's the wrong mentality.
Right.
In my
And
mind.
and like, you know, the agent attraction, like, you don't have to recruit, right? But it's a good way to add just yet another stream of income that maybe some you know, it's a better model than some other brokerages. So it's just, you know, it seems more fair to the agents here, and it's more enticing to attract agents.
Well, I feel like the
than
agent
just
attraction will come naturally with production. If you're doing well and people see that and you're putting it out there on your social media channels, people contact you. You don't have to actively, aggressively recruit people. They'll see if you're having success. Like I called Kyle. I said, "You're highly successful. You just made this move. Why?" And he told me like his numbers had gone through the roof since he moved, and all these reasons were the reasons why he did it, and it's all paid off. And that's all I needed to hear, honestly. I was like, okay, well, my timeline isn't quite ready yet, but you know, it's one of those things that it was just the timing has to be right a little bit.
No, absolutely. Keep going. Sorry, you're doing. You're doing great.
No, that was about it, really. Honestly, I think that the production, you need to stand on your production, and I think most agents, the ones that give any of these kind of organizations a bad name, is because they're chasing that 30, that, you know, I want to retire by 30 because I'm going to have all these other people working and I'm going to make money off each of them. Like this is a standard brokerage. It really is. It's a cloud-based brokerage and there's incentives to grow it, but you need to still produce the numbers yourself. So,
and it's a lot of self-motivation here when it comes to EXP, but you know, you have all the resources, you have the leadership, you have the team aspect. So, you know, it's unlikely that you'll fail at EXP if you're using everything to your advantage, but it's still a possibility. It's not the right fit for everyone. So when you're looking to come over, you know, do be skeptical, do ask all the right questions, do your research, but, you know, at the end of the
thing too is like going back to that metaverse thing, which I thought was so cheesy. It's like the way you can use it though. I was just on it last night because I had questions for my BIC, and you walk your little avatar into the BIC office and you sit down, you have a conversation. You're done in like 2 minutes, you know, as opposed to trying to chase them down on the phone like an actual person, and they're an agent too, and they're not going to take your call until they're done showing their houses, you know. It's very useful. I mean, you can go get all your education over there, any legal advice, any tech support you need. It's like that part's awesome. Don't bring your clients in there and sit down with them in a meeting room, you know, in metaverse. I think that's never going to happen for me. But it has this place.
That feels impersonal too. So you've just got to learn how to use all these tools to your advantage to, you know, how you're supposed to, which is, you know, it takes a learning process. But again, you have the guidance. Just be a self-starter, and the world is at your fingertips. Iconing is at your fingertips. Getting your cap back in stock is at your fingertips. And
we're going to Vegas for EXP Con. That's gonna be fun. I'm assuming
that was my next question, if I was gonna see you in Vegas, Jake. So looking forward to that. And that's pretty much it. You know, it's been a 24-minute podcast. I think it's been an awesome episode. If you guys have questions about EXP, reach out to Jake because, you know, why not? He seems like he's got an awesome upline. He's got contacts with awesome people like Kyle Whistle. So, you know, if you've got questions, comments, concerns, this is somebody who was introduced to EXP in the wrong way and they still came over. So, you know, a great resource for somebody looking to make that switch. And Jake, anything you want to leave the listeners with today as we wrap it up?
No, I mean, honestly, I would just explore all your options. If you're looking for greener pastures, don't do the hearsay thing that you heard this and heard that about certain brokerages. Go talk to someone that's actually in it and talk to them about why they did it or why they think it's, I'll give you the good and the bad. Nothing's perfect, but this model, as far as I've been in, is by far the best that I've been in so far. So
absolutely.
I appreciate you having me on today.
Of course. Yeah. Success leaves breadcrumbs. So, hit up EXP, hit up Jake and see what happens. And Jake, I appreciate your time. I'm looking forward to seeing you IRL in Vegas.
Absolutely. It'll be fun.
Sounds good, Jake. Well, let me know if you have any questions in the meantime. Don't be a stranger, and we'll see you soon.
All right. Thank you.
This Icon podcast is hosted and sponsored by Sphere Rocket Virtual Assistants, a leading provider for your virtual assistants and outsourcing needs. Owned by one of the top-ranking EXP agents, Justin Nelson. Sphere Rocket VA provides a one-stop virtual staffing solution for business owners, and we specialize in helping business owners grow their business by leveraging through virtual assistants. Trusted by the top names in the real estate industry like Kyle Whistle, Andrew Franklin, John Kitchens, and many more. Get ready to up your success and we'll help you achieve your business goals. Book your free consultation at sphererocketva.com and find out how we can make your life easier.